Hello out there, welcome to your next mission video podcast. The 1st Infantry Division, better known as the Big Red One, is the oldest continuous serving division in the U.S. Army, formed in 1917 to fight in World War I. Today, the Big Red One's commanding general and division command sergeant major will join me, how about that, on the show to tell us why 2025 is the year of the warrior. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Your Next Mission video podcast, where we tell the stories of those who have served in the past and those who are serving today. From transition to financial wellness, VA benefits to mental health, we cover issues facing veterans, active military, and their families. Now here's your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army and co-founder of the American Freedom Foundation, Jack L. Tilley.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks to all of our veterans, service members, and their families for your service to our great country. Now, before we get started, I personally want to thank our presenting sponsors, Navy Federal Credit Union, whose members are the mission, Purdue Global, where you can start your comeback, and USAA, whose mission is taking care of the community and families always. With additional sponsorship from Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental and Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision. Together, they make your next mission happen. They love our veterans and families, and I say it every time, we love them too. Today we're going to talk about the U.S. Army 1st Infantry Division, the Big Red One. I'm pumped up already, I can't even say it right. And I'm excited to welcome the command team from the 1st Infantry Division headquarters at Fort Riley, Kansas, Major General Monté L. Rone, Commanding General, and Sergeant Major Derek Noyes, Division Command Sergeant Major. Thank you both for being on the show.
Sergeant Major, thanks for having us.
Well, I tell you what, I just am so happy to get you guys on the show, and you can see I'm pumped up, I'm motivated. Hey, before we get started, can each one of you tell the audience just a little bit about yourself? And sir, we'll start with you.
Sure, Sergeant Major. And Sergeant Major, good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to join the podcast. Sergeant Major, I have the best job in the United States Army, and I'm both humbled and honored for the opportunity to serve as Danger 6 in command, the 1st Division and command here at Fort Riley, Kansas. I've been in command for roughly 9 months, and over that time, Sergeant Major, every day has been a good day. And I can truly tell you right here, and you appreciate this, that I am proud to be a Big Red One soldier. Sergeant Major, I'm a prior enlisted trooper. I joined the Army on all days on September 11th, 1990. I enlisted as a 68 November 10. So I was an avionics mechanic. I did that for about 5 years, and then in 1995, I was commissioned as an infantry officer in the United States Army. And then for the better part of 3 decades, I've been a combination as an officer and a general officer, serving in various formations. Been in airborne formations, striker formations, and also mechanized and armor formations. Enjoying each and every day, Sergeant Major, and I truly mean that. Sergeant Major, in addition to serving in those formations, I've commanded and led at all echelons, been on joint formations, and also served in NATO headquarters. I'll just close with this. Sergeant Major, I enjoy being a soldier. I love taking care of soldiers and their families and our civilians across the installation. But make no mistake about it, I do understand our purpose. And this division, just like it's been for 107 years, this division will always be ready. Over.
After that comment, I'm ready to go re-enlist. I'm ready to sign back up. Hey, Sergeant Major, how about yourself? Tell the audience just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, SMA, first, I'd just like to thank you for having us on the podcast today. It's a great pleasure to be with you and to see you. It's been a couple years since I've seen you, but thanks for having us. I would just say, first of all, I'm privileged and I'm honored to be Danger 7. It's an incredible job, no better job in the Army than to be the Division Command Sergeant Major for this great historical division. I've been in the Army about 28 years, coming on 29 years now. I've been in position about 18 months now. I'm a tanker by trade, tank master gunner, just like yourself, and just super proud of this division and super proud to be the Command Sergeant Major of this amazing organization.
We just connected right there. I was also a master gunner, division sergeant major. We got a lot in common going on, tankers and stuff, so I like that already. Hey, sir, what's the priorities of the 1st Infantry Division? And can you tell me 3 or 4 you're really focusing on right now?
Yes, Sergeant Major. And Sergeant Major, I'd just like to start. Our motto tells you everything about the culture of this formation. It says no mission is too difficult, no sacrifice is too great, duty first. And you take that mission, you take that culture, you overlay that with senior commanders or senior leader direction and guidance. And I've developed 4 priorities. Our first priority is to build warfighting readiness. I mean, as a heavy formation committed to lethality, we understand the importance of crew readiness and ensuring our crews are lethal at echelon. We also understand the importance of being able to fight as combined arms teams at echelon so we can be successful in support of combat operations. But in order to get there, Sergeant Major, what we truly focus on from a warfighting standpoint is ensuring that our formations are fit, that they're led by inspirational leaders, that they're disciplined, trained, and ready for the rigors of combat operations. The second priority, Sergeant Major, is all about taking care of our soldiers, families, and civilians across the installation. And at the end of the day, you know that's a very important task. It's an essential task for me as a senior commander. So we invest in this well above the 54 programs that we have here on the installation to ensure that our soldiers are taken care of, our families are taken care of, they're protected, and they have all the quality of life services required to ensure they can truly help us meet our goal of ensuring that Fort Riley remains the best place to live, train, deploy from, return home to, and yes, retire for some.
Yeah.
Third priority, Sergeant Major.
Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Is to adapt our formations to win. And what we're doing right there is as the character of war continues to change, we want to ensure that our formations are adapting to change. And that's above and beyond just getting new equipment. That's focusing on how we train, doing more training at night, how to operate in electromagnetic spectrum, how to lower your signature, how to operate distributed, but still remain effective from a mission command standpoint. So all those things we're doing to ensure that we continue to stay razor sharp and stay ahead of our enemies. And then the final priority, Sergeant Major, is developing inspirational leaders. We understand the importance of leadership, and leadership remains the most dynamic element of combat power. So we invest in our leaders, not only in the training of our leaders, but also the certification of our leaders. Over.
Yeah, there's no second best in our profession. You've got to make sure that you're prepared at a moment's notice to deploy. I tell people all the time, I deployed a lot in my life in the military, and I loved every bit of it, but I realize it's not a joke. There's a world, just no second best in our profession. And so, sir, I appreciate what you're currently doing, what you continue to do for our military. Hey, Sergeant Major, and I told you a few minutes ago, I was a Division Sergeant Major. I loved the job, had it for about 5.5 years. What's your focus? Share that with the audience. What do you focus on as a Division Sergeant Major?
Yeah, SMA, my entire focus is trying to make sure that the boss's priorities are met. And that starts with warfighting readiness, like we already talked about. We got a young, inexperienced NCO Corps, and for me, it's about making sure that NCO Corps is ready to lead our soldiers in combat. And our NCOs in a lot of cases are working 1 or 2 levels up, and so we may think they know what they're doing, or we may think they know what their job is, but we've really got to work hard to certify and train them, make sure they understand what the priorities are, and they understand how to train those young soldiers that serve in the division. So my focus is always on the NCO Corps. NCO development is kind of the key for me. I think in a LISCO fight, this is a bitter test of wills. This is a lethal fight, and it's going to be tough. And we're not talking about just a few days. We're talking about weeks, potentially months, and years of combat. So our NCOs have to understand what the priorities are. Number one being fitness. We've really focused on fitness in the last year in this division because you got to be fit to win in combat. And if you're not fit, day after day in a modern environment, you're probably going to be dead. And so we really focus on that. Number two, it's about tough, hard, realistic training in the dirt. We're not talking about simulators here. We're talking about getting platoons. We're talking about getting squads, teams, crews in the dirt and training hard. We're talking about doing it in complex terrain. We're talking about doing it at night, in the black of night, when we have an advantage over our adversaries. And so, getting our NCO Corps to understand what this LISCO modern combat means, and getting them to accept that and to understand that they got to have the warrior ethos, the warrior spirit to win in this environment. Our advantage has always been our non-commissioned officer corps, and we continue to make sure that's the Army's advantage. This is not about tanks. It's not about Bradleys. It's not about paladins. It's about non-commissioned officers and soldiers who have the will to win in combat. And if we can do that, we can continue to train them. We'll be okay. So those are my focus areas. And then number two, I just want to talk about the, sponsorship and onboarding. We really want to win the first 30 days in this division with new soldiers. That's the time when soldiers are the most vulnerable. It's the time when soldiers can go one of two ways. They can get on the team, they can trust their leaders, and they can start doing great things, or they can go the opposite way. And so we've put in a lot of things in the division with our reception program to try to bring new soldiers on the right way, to make sure they have everything they need, to make sure they're taken care of and they're ready to go when they get down to their brigades. Our sponsorship program, we're doing a lot of things in the reception company to make sure that we have sponsors for our young soldiers and to make sure that they're getting what they need. And we don't want people to go down to their brigades not ready to go, because once they get down there, this division is busy, and we're gonna get after it. And so that program is incredibly important to me, and we're focused a lot on trying to make sure our soldiers are properly onboarded and sponsored and ready to go when they get down to their units.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the two things that I'm looking at.
Oh, no, you covered a lot of stuff right there. I was just thinking all the time you was talking. When I came in the Army, I went from private to E5 in 18 months, and I was a staff sergeant in 2.5 years at the time. And this years ago, I understand that, but it was during war. And I was thinking about how important that coaching and teaching and development was from the senior non-commissioned officer. And every time somebody starts talking about NCOs, I always start thinking about sergeant. What does sergeant mean? You know what it means. It means to serve the people above you and below you. And I always tried to do that through my entire military career. How do I help those soldiers and the officers that I'm working with? Because we're not by ourselves. We're a team, just like you guys are. To fight in the battlefield. So that's big stuff. Thanks so much. Hey, sir, you mentioned at the top of the show that the 1st Infantry Division, the oldest continuous serving division in the United States Army, founded in 1917. That's like I said, I served in it, but that's an impressive legacy, and I'm glad to be part of that. But what about today? What's going on with the big red one right now?
Sergeant Major, hey, thanks for the question. I'll tell you. The division is leaving nothing at rest. We've got every soldier, every formation, every piece of kit, and we're ensuring that we are ready to go when and if the nation needs us. The division just completed the 2nd Division of Dirt rotation. I think 1st Armored Division had the first one. We just completed the 2nd one out at the National Training Center. This was a division rotation, Sergeant Major. I had miles on. I thought I'd never wear miles again after I left NTC back when I was a brigade commander.
I wasn't sure they still had it. I didn't remember that. I didn't think they had still had miles out there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it, Sergeant Major. Had miles on. Sergeant Major had miles on. We were out there with the division command and staff. Sergeant Major, we had three functional brigades with us as well. So we had the sustainment brigade, and they never have a CTC rotation at that echelon for that brigade commander. So he had an OCT team with him. We had the Combat Aviation Brigade and the Division Fires Brigade, along with the division and enablers, and we went through what you and I would consider a traditional combat training center rotation. But instead of it being focused at the brigade level, it was focused at the division level. Sergeant Major, it was a generational training event. I will tell you, everyone from myself all the way down to the junior trooper, we learned so much about, first and foremost, what it took to get there in terms of training at home station at the division level. Then when we got there, we got, again, a first-class experience with a thinking Op 4, and we learned a lot about division-level operations. Sergeant Major, in addition to that, once we finished up our rotation in January, we were able to merge in the 1st Brigade. So the 1st Brigade came in the next rotation. So now you had the division headquarters and 4 of our 5 brigades here on in the division out at the National Training Center, continue to go through this generational training. Phenomenal training density across the board. And that's why when folks ask me, what do you think about the 1st Infantry Division? I said, well, my assessment is we're the best trained, most ready formation in the United States Army, given our current trips out to the National Training Center at both the division and 4 of the 5 brigades have completed CTC rotations here in the last 30 to 45 days. Sergeant Major, we're also supporting operational deployments. We're supporting combatant commander missions worldwide, but we're also supporting missions along the southern border. Sergeant Major, we've had troopers out in California as well, and we're continuing to stay ready and hone our skills. So this division, this installation is very busy supporting both training and supporting combatant commander missions worldwide. Over.
Yeah, you know, I see it never changes. I mean, I tell you what, I spent so many nights away from home when I was in the military, and I love the Army. I love everything about it. I got to say one thing though, I'm sure they're not doing the same thing. When I got that Miles gear years ago, it still has the battery in there, and I remember I caught some soldiers taking the battery out so they wouldn't get killed. that was a funny thing. Hey, Sergeant Major, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm really excited about that we're getting ready to do, we're getting ready to run our E3B program, which is Expert Infantryman Badge, Expert Soldier Badge, and then your Field Medical Badge. That program is incredibly important for the division. That's those basic soldier tasks that we already talked about, making sure that our soldiers are proficient in their warrior tasks and battle drills. And that just brings out the spirit of competition, and watching people get those badges pinned on after that competition, it's a great feeling to see that. And to see people succeed and to learn their basic skills. And this is all about getting people in the dirt, doing those 10 and 20 level tasks. The National Training Center is nothing like it. You can't stretch your legs like you can out at the National Training Center or home station. And so just taking advantage of all those training opportunities has made the division a much better, and we're ready to go no matter where a nation calls on us to do. We're ready to go get after it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I went out to NTC. I was sitting on a mountain, looking at the mountain. I just lost. I couldn't find anything. But now you guys got that GPS. That'll keep you straight. But that's some tough training, and that's some good training for our soldiers and our men and women in uniform. We need to take a quick break. I know you're not going to go anywhere. I'll be right. We'll come back in just a few minutes. But when we come back, I want to talk about the Year of the Warrior. So stay right there. I'll be right back. This is Your Next Mission video podcast with me, your host, Jack L. Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army. And if you're enjoying the discussion, I know you are, because we're talking about war fighting. We're talking about fighting our nation's war. We're talking about protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Please like us. Click on that subscribe button below. And be sure to click on the bell to receive notifications of all of our upcoming video podcast releases. I'll be right back after a word from our presenting sponsors.
You're watching Your Next Mission video podcast, proudly presented by Navy Federal Credit Union, the most trusted credit union owned by members of the military community, serving all branches of the armed forces and their families. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Their members are the mission. Purdue Global. You're ready for a comeback, and with Purdue Global, you can do more than take classes. You can take charge of your story, of your career, of your life. Earn a degree you can be proud of and get an education employers respect. Start your comeback at purdueglobal.edu. And USAA.
A promise is a trust not to be broken, whether spoken with an oath or sealed with a pinky. And after 100 years, we're still taking care of the military community and their families. That's our mission, always.
Now back to your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack L. Tilley.
Welcome back. We're talking with Major General Monté L. Rone, Commanding General of the United States Army 1st Infantry Division, and Sergeant Major Derek Noyes, the 1st Infantry Division, Division Command Sergeant Major. Before we get back to our discussion, I want to let you know about a way to support the work we're doing on behalf of our veterans and families here at the American Freedom Foundation. If you have a used vehicle you're planning on getting rid of, or some property you don't have any plans for, you can donate it. Visit our website at AmericanFreedomFoundation.org/donate and click on the vehicle donation button or the home donation button to support our work. We really, really, really would appreciate your support. Sir, you referenced all 5 brigades conducting NTC. Would you talk about the importance of readiness at the place like Fort Riley?
Hey, Sergeant Major, you know we live in a dangerous world. And as you mentioned, there's no second place in the profession of arms. There's no honorable mention. I mean, you don't get a pat on the back, when you lose. So we have no choice but to be ready. We're one of the Army's combat divisions, and the Army and the American people expect us, when called upon, to go out and operate well within the band of excellence. No excuses. And that's what we strive for each and every day. We strive for perfection. But again, Sergeant Major, there's no such thing as perfection in the profession of arms, but there is a band of excellence. So each and every day, whether we're doing individual training, leader training, collective training, we try to stay in that band of excellence and meter it, striving for that goal, but at the end of the day, staying consistent. So when the nation calls, the Big Red One, like it's done for 107 years, we'll be ready to go. Over.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I know you do a lot. How many days a year do you guys stay in the field, just for interest, just to let me know here? How many days? Do you have an idea? How many days?
Oh my
you
God!
stay
Let
in
me.
the field a year?
In the last 9 months, Sergeant Major, or a typical brigade training density, I would say a brigade spends about 2.5 to 3 months in the field. If you had to rack and stack it over a training density, about 2.5 to 3 months, and that includes all the gunnery training densities, the collective training, and then the multi-echelon training prior to going to a rotation.
Yeah. Hey, Sergeant Major, the 1st Infantry Division declared 2025 as Year of the Warrior. What's the purpose of the campaign, and why is it so important to your mission?
So every year the division has a theme or an emphasis, a campaign, if you were. Last year we had Year of Victory. This year it's the Year of the Warrior. I think the Year of the Warrior, it just ties very well into what the Army's got going on right now. We're talking about the warrior spirit. We're talking about developing our NCOs, our young officers. And I think that warrior spirit, that will to win, the will to survive is incredibly important on today's modern battlefield. The division has a lot of things going on this year, and we've put some things in place like a series of NCO PDs and LPDs for our leaders to make sure they understand what the warrior spirit's all about. We put in a series of competitions this year so that we get that spirit of winning, that spirit of victory. We want everything to tie back into readiness. We want everything to tie back into winning. And I think just that mindset of winning is incredibly important to our soldiers. Like you said, second place, it means you're dead. And so we got to win everything we do. Really, really excited about this campaign. We're actually getting ready to kick it off in the next couple of days. Starting with the division run. What better way to kick off a campaign than get out on the streets and run a couple of miles with our division, and then we'll do a series of competitions. But super excited about this, and I think it ties very well into the Army's 250th birthday celebration when you talk about a legacy of warfighting and how we want to get after that. And so pretty excited about it.
You have a lot of 5th District Division veterans that live around the installation there, don't you, that probably come on post all the time? Tell me a little bit about that. How are they doing? Are they visiting quite a bit? Or come up? Any division sergeant majors, old division sergeant major, come in there and visit you?
We have a laundry list of people that come on the installation. This community is incredibly supportive. But we have a few division sergeant majors. Jim Champagne lives right down the road. He comes on a lot.
Hey, tell him I said hi. He's a good guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, he is. And so, this is a great community. We'll talk a little bit about the community later, but incredibly supportive community right outside the gates of Fort Riley.
Yeah. All right. Sir, I imagine the same thing. If you got some of those general officers that live off post there, they come on to see you and give you advice all the time, don't they?
Hey, Sergeant Major, it's called coaching, I guess. Coaching.
There you go. There you go. I love that. You get a lot of coaching all the time there.
Yeah. I guess I need a lot of coaching.
Hey, we need to take another quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about your quality of life initiatives. So please, you guys have got me so pumped up. I don't know what I'm going to do. Stay right there. I'm going to be right back. Now, here's a word from one more of the organizations that helped make this show possible.
You're watching Your Next Mission video podcast, brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental, Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision.
Part of transitioning out is that dental and vision insurance breaks off from your medical insurance.
Vision and dental is very important to be able to enjoy your retirement.
Blue Cross Blue Shield makes the transition so much easier.
Now back to your host, the 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, Jack L. Tilley.
Welcome back. We're blessed to be here today with Major General Monté L. Rone, Commanding General, and Sergeant Major Derek Noyes, Division Command Sergeant Major of the 1st Infantry Division. Remember, this is your show. We know there's so many issues that directly affect you, and we want to address each and every one of them. So please, 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 as I said many times, reach out to me. Tell me what topics you'd like us to cover. You can leave me a message at 844-424-1134 or send me an email at SMA Tilley at yournextmission.org. Guess what? I'll reach back out to you. Sir, you have a couple of initiatives I really like to hear about, the Soldier Quality of Life Initiative and the Spouse Quality of Life Initiatives. Would you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, Sergeant Major. And Sergeant Major, earlier I referenced, one of the themes around here that people would say is that Fort Riley is this hidden gem, and we don't want to be a hidden gem. I mean, Fort Riley is truly a unique place. It's a special place, and at the end of the day, my family and I, we think it's a great place to live. And as I stated before, train, deploy from, return home to, and for nearly 30,000 veterans, the best place to retire as well. So some of the things we do to try to keep our community, pushing in the right direction and protect the force. And one of the things I'm focused on is really taking care of our junior soldiers and improving quality of life for them. So one of the initiatives is Safe Passage. So our Major, right now, we're about 18 miles away from the city of Manhattan. Right outside the gate is Junction City, and soldiers like to frequent it. If you think of a triangle, those are the 3 points on the edge of that triangle right there where soldiers like to go. So right now, 18 miles is a long way. So one of the things we're doing is Safe Passage. We're trying to get our soldiers safely off the installation so they can go and dialogue with the community, go grab something to eat, go to restaurants, hang out near a college campus, or go down to Junction City and have a good time and things of that nature. Because right now, we don't have that capability on the installation. And some of our troopers are getting off, Sergeant Major, but they're having a hard time getting back safely. So our Safe Passage program is going to allow them to get off, go out and have a good time, a time that they've earned, then get back onto the installation in a very controlled, deliberate, and safe manner. Sergeant Major, will also, in terms of structures and infrastructure on the base, we're remodeling 5 of our barracks right now. We've got outstanding facilities, but we're remodeling our barracks. In terms of our dining facilities, we're remodeling one of the brigade dining facilities. We're adding kiosks up on the hill as well, so soldiers have additional options. And what the Sergeant Major are really trying to do is provide quality chow, but also give soldiers quantity and options along the way. So, for example, you don't have to go to the dining facility for every meal. You can go to a kiosk, grab a sandwich, a bag of chips, or grab whatever you need to grab, and then get back to your room. So that's what we're really exploring for our soldiers, getting them off the post safely, making sure they got great barracks, making sure they got the outstanding DFAC support, all supported by the command team and senior leaders on the installation.
Yeah.
Sergeant Major, the second...
Yeah,
go ahead, Sergeant
sir.
Major.
No, go ahead, sir. No.
I was going to say the second initiative is the Spouse E&E. And Sergeant Major, that's not escape and evade. That's education and employment opportunities. Many of our spouses are professionals now. So I've got, teachers and educators, lawyers, medical service providers. So what we're working through right now with Governor Kelly and really the team here in Kansas and the local leadership is to find a way to ensure that all the certifications, the licensing and things of that nature, all that can be taken care of before a spouse actually arrives here to Fort Riley, Kansas. So as the soldier's in processing, his or her spouse will already have a job. They'll have the proper license and certifications. So as the soldier gets integrated into the formation, like Sergeant Major said, the spouse already has a job and he or she is going to work as well. We've got great traction on that at the state level, got great traction on at the regional level, and we've got great traction with that with our local partners as well. So again, we're very happy with that program and we think it's going to bear fruit, but more importantly, it's going to set our soldiers and their families up for success when they come to Fort Riley, Kansas.
We was talking a minute ago, I was thinking about when I was a brigade sergeant major in 194 years ago at Fort Knox, and I really had a problem. Sergeant Major, you can probably relate to this, going to Louisville and then coming back and drinking too much alcohol and going to West Point there, I think it was West Point, and getting a DUI and getting arrested. So I actually ended up building a club in the brigade, and I put a volleyball net. But what I did, I got probably 20 soldiers together and tell me, how do I stop this? And so they told me what they wanted, and I built a club. And it really, it was 6,000 people in the brigade, and it cut down on our problems. It really cut down. Maybe we're still going to have them. You're still going to have a couple of people who's going to mess up there, but it cut down a lot of that stuff. But unfortunately, shortly after that, it deactivated. The other thing I'll tell you is when you talk about spouses, I've been married for 55 years. My wife is absolutely my best friend. But the spouses in our military sacrifice so much to allow us to do our job each and every day. And so having the spouses involved in the process each and every day, I think it's just an important thing because, we re-enlist because our family wants us to re-enlist, to stay in the military. So they're doing a heck of a good job. I don't really tell you the truth, I don't think we can pat them on the back enough or or say thank you to the spouses enough. So, hey, Sergeant Major, do you want to add anything to that? To the general?
Yeah, I would just say, when you talk to our new single soldiers, a lot of them, they come from big cities or places on the coast, and they have no idea where Fort Riley is.
Yeah.
You couldn't point it out on a map. And they have expectations of Fort Riley before they get here. They think it's going to be flat, cornfields, and they really don't know what to expect. And so, we've got to show them that Fort Riley has a lot to offer. This community is an amazing community. This is a great place to live and work. It's a great place to raise a family. We have incredibly low crime here. We've got great housing on the installation. We've got a great set of barracks here. And we really have the opportunity to take care of our soldiers. And there's a lot to do outside the gates of the post as well. And people don't realize that until they get here, until they experience it. And so, we want people to know that Fort Riley is an amazing place to live and work. We've got great training facilities, and then we've got a great community around us.
Well, I used to say train hard, work hard, and have fun. You know what I mean? I mean, you got to train hard as you can, work hard as you can, make sure you're ready to fight and do your kind of job. But you also got to, sir, I don't have no hair either, but let your hair down. We do have where we let our hair down a little bit, right? And have a little fun, laugh a little bit, have a good time, and let people know that, it's a good place. You got a good family. And really, it doesn't matter if you're a private or a general. We're all part of a family. We put our arms around each other. Sir, you talked about it, I think, a little bit already. But I'm going to talk about it again. What makes Fort Riley special? I think you talked about it already with him, but any additional things that make Fort Riley special?
Hey, Sergeant Major, I'll just do the foot stomp. It's one word. It's the people.
It's the people.
I mean, every military installation or unit, has its own culture. It has its history, everything that it's proud of. But I'll tell you, the people here in Fort Riley, in and around Fort Riley, Sergeant Major, I haven't seen anything like this in 34 years of military service. And that's everything from our soldiers for life, as you stated. And that's our retirees and veterans, old Danger 7s, old Danger 6s. That's the junior troopers. Sergeant Major, quick story. I won't take up all our time, but I was on the elevator. I was on the elevator. I was in uniform. I went down to visit one of the headquarters, and I turn around and I see this gentleman. He's got a pin on. It's a big red one. He turns to me and says, "Hey, sir, duty first." And he's got the big red one symbol on there. He said, "I served at Fort Riley, laid it out for me." And I'm here to tell you, he was so proud that he's wearing his big red one patch. I mean, he didn't know I was coming through or anything like that, but he's still wearing the big red one patch, and he's proud of his service and all the sacrifices, but not just him, but his family and all his teammates made while he wore that patch. Made me feel good, Sergeant Major. I'm proud to be Danger 6 every day, but that's one of the days where you're like, wow. Every day, this gentleman, who's an elderly gentleman, was wearing this big red one patch on his civilian gear, to work every day. But I'm here to tell you, that's what makes it special. It's the people, and not just the soldiers for life. It's the community partners, Sergeant Major. It's our families that are here. It's everything. And what I call it is the Fort Riley community of interest. Truly, what makes this place special. And again, when I say it, some people hey, sir, you don't really mean that, do you? But Sergeant Major, I really mean it. This is the best place I've served in 34 years in the military. And it has everything and anything to do with the history of the organization, but also the people outside the front gate over.
Yeah. I wear my hat all the time. I'm proud to say I served in the military. And I run into a lot of other people that wear their headgear too. And the majority of them spent 3 or 4 years in the service. And I'll start talking to them. They'll talk to me about how the military changed their life. I mean, all the positive things. Then I'll ask them. I always like to ask this question. I said, if you had to do it all over again, would you stayed any longer? And just about to a person, they all say, yes, I'd have stayed longer, because they got out for a bunch of reasons. A bunch of different reasons. So it was just, it's nice to hear that stuff. And then they tell me 3 or 4, and then I say 36, and they take a double look at me and say, what? 36? Why'd you stay long? You're a slow learner or something. I don't know about that. Hey, sir, Sergeant Major, this, first of all, let me tell you, this has been a great discussion. These things always go so fast because I personally love what you're doing. I believe in the Army. I believe in the Army is my family. I'm just not going to give them any money, but they're from a family, right? But this is a great discussion. Any final thoughts, anything that maybe we should have talked about, we didn't talk about? And sir, we'll start with you. Anything you want to share with the audience?
No, Sergeant Major, again, I just want to start by just saying thank you again, and thank you and your team for giving Command Sergeant Major Noyes and I the opportunity to share just a few words with you about all the great things that our soldiers across Fort Riley are accomplishing in support of missions across the globe. I'll just leave one thing with you and your audience. At the end of the day, the Big Red One is ready, just like we've been ready for 107 years of continuous service to the nation. Only combat theater we have not participated in, we didn't participate in, was the Korean theater. Other than that, from World War I to today, this division, the Army's 1st Division, the anchor of the fighting force, has been ready, and we will be ready the next time you call. Thank you again, Sergeant Major. I appreciate your time. I enjoyed the dialogue this afternoon.
Oh, you got me pumped up. Sergeant Major, any final thoughts?
Yeah, SMA, thanks for having us on. It was a great discussion, and like I said before, Fort Riley is an amazing place to serve. This division has an incredible legacy, and we're just proud of the division, and we're proud of Fort Riley. And we want people that are listening to know how great a place Fort Riley is to live, to work, to serve, and then potentially retire. Just love this place and love the people here. And so if that's the takeaway for everyone that's listening, is a great place to be.
Well, okay. Again, I'm going to check you out here real quick. We talked a minute ago about how we're going to finish the show up. So are you guys ready? Okay.
Oh, we're ready.
All right. Okay. Duty first.
Victory!
I love it. Hey, thanks again for being with us. Thanks for coming on our show. God bless you for what you do.
Thanks, Sergeant Major. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks again to Major General Monté L. Rone and the Division Sergeant Major Derek Noyes from the U.S. Army 1st Infantry Division for joining us. I'm Jack L. Tilley, 12th Sergeant Major of the Army, and you've been enjoying Your Next Mission video podcast. Thank you for joining us, and log on to our website at yournextmission.org and leave me a review. I hope it's a good one, but leave me one. While you're there, you can visit our nonprofit and corporate partners who have jobs and services available that can assist you in your transition from the military. And check out our job board in partnership with Recruit Military and Upline, where you can create your own personal profile that will match you with just the right job in real time. You can follow me on my personal social media pages, Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Rumble. And if you like what we're doing with Your Next Mission, please click on that subscribe button below. And don't forget to click on the bell to receive notifications about our upcoming video podcast. Remember, we want to hear from you. Please leave me a message or send me a text at 844-424-1134 or send me an email at smatilley@yournextmission.org. Thanks again to Major General Rone and Sergeant Major Noyes for joining us today. Look here, if you're not pumped up, if you're not motivated, there's something wrong with you. This is a great division. This division made me grow up. This division was really the stepping stone in my career, in my life, really in the military. They're ready to fight and win our nation's war anytime. You know, when we come into the military, we raise our hand, we say, we will protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. You know what that means? You all know what that means. I've said it a bunch of times on the show. That means that I'm willing to give up my life for your freedoms. I'm willing to take a life for your freedoms. There's no second best in our military. There's no second best in our Army. There's no second best in the 1st Infantry Division. Thank you for watching, and thanks to New Mind Studios and, of course, our sponsors, Navy Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, USAA, Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Dental, and Blue Cross Blue Shield FEP Vision. We appreciate all you do for our military. And as always, see you on the high ground. Hooah!
You've been listening to Your Next Mission, brought to you by the American Freedom Foundation. Learn more by visiting yournextmission.org.